Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Christy. I am a part of the HeadSpin team. I've been working with the company for more than 4 years now. It's my fifth year this December. So I'll be walking you through a great feature that we have at HeadSpin. It's called HeadSpin CLI tool. It's called the command line interface tool. It's a very powerful tool in which you can use remote devices that's all across the world. You can connect it to your local laptop, desktop, so that you can do a testing on, say, frameworks that requires you to use a local device. A great example would be to connect your device to Espresso or even Compose test cases, maybe even Exit test cases. That's for iOS. I'll just quickly walk you through a few. I'll walk you through the agenda for today. So I'll be introducing the whole platform to you. That's the HeadSpin platform. I'll walk you through the UI, how you can use our devices to do testing even on remote uh, cloud frameworks as well, like Appium. And I'll also talk a bit more about some of the features and capabilities that we have. Then I'll be talking about the CLI tool itself. Then I'll be showing you how to get the CLI tool installed on your laptop or desktop and how you can utilize some of the key capabilities which the CLI enables you to do. Then we'll be showing you how the device connection is taking place for both for iOS and Android, and a small test case on iOS as well as Android test cases. Okay. Now, HeadSpin is a digital experience platform. So we give you cloud devices which can help you do testing on any of your applications, be it pre-builds, post-builds. So before you release your application, you can do some testing on actual devices that we offer so that you can get insights and reports out of that to get the application at its peak performance. So we have 4 pillars over here. The basic one would be the global device infrastructure. We have data centers all across the world wherein we house actual devices connected to what we call P boxes. Now the P box itself contains Linux or Mac mini hosts, which helps us get the actual devices connected to our UI. Now the second pillar would be test automation and the APIs that we use. Now test automation here refers to the wide varieties of automation tools that you can use. Be it open source tools like Appium, Selenium, even low code solutions like Tosca, Leapworks, or in XLQ. And in this webinar, we'll be more or less focusing on the test frameworks that requires a developer like Detox, maybe using Flutter debug, or even getting Espresso Compose exit test cases run. Now, the third major pillar would be performance, quality of experience, and even machine learning. Now, this is where HeadSpin shines. So whenever you do a test case on our devices, we give you insights into those particular test cases. So it's not just you do a test case, see if it passed or failed with any of your frameworks. We give you details regarding how the application performed during that test case on a particular network, particular device. We give you the detailed view of all of the issues that could have occurred, and even the network API calls and even the device specific calls as well. The last bit would be insights into those actions. Now, this is where we not only point out what those issues were, we'll also give you hints at what you can actually do to get that particular issue resolved or even improve the performance of your application itself. Now, this is the P box or the proxy box, which utilizes Mac minis or Linux servers, which helps get the devices connected. So we use Mac minis for iOS devices and we use Linux hosts for the Android devices. And what you see on the right-hand side is the actual UI itself. I'll be showing that to you as well in the webinar. And the black box is a pin lock box, which houses the devices. Now, what you see below that is what we call the AV box. Now, this helps in testing out OTT devices. So what you're seeing right now is a Roku TV, and the device on the right-hand side is an actual mobile device. It's an Android device that uses its camera to record the screen of that particular OTT device. So we have that set up so that any DRM-based content can be recorded and you can do functional performance testing for that. Now, what exactly is the HeadSpin CLI? Now, the CLI is a command line interface tool. So it is a small file that you can install on your laptop or desktop, which enables you to bridge the remote device, which is all across the world, that's connected to our P boxes, to your laptop. Now, it acts as if it's connecting the device via the USB cable so that you can basically get the device locally accessible. It's like mimicking a local connection. Now, it supports interactions with Xcode, Android Studio right now, Flutter debug tools, and even Express detox frameworks as well. Now, any kind of testing frameworks that requires that connection, you can pretty much use it. Now, CLI tool can also be connected to, say, your web browser as well. So we support desktop browsers. So if you want to use Chrome Inspect, we can do that using the same tool. Now, the prerequisites to install HeadSpin CLI. You need a HeadSpin license. That's the very first thing that you need. So once you get the HeadSpin license, you get a token created. So anyone that logs into HeadSpin will have their own token. So be it a huge organization with hundreds of people, each one of you will get your own token. Now the token is used to authenticate who is actually using the tool or the platform. Now the latest CLI version, you can download that from the download section. I'll be showing that to you. And if you are testing out iOS devices on Windows machines, I wouldn't recommend that. I would prefer you use a macOS device so that you can get the most out of it. So in those cases, if you are using Windows, you'd have to install iTunes to get the CLI working so that you can connect the iOS devices. So now the device connection workflow. Now, first things first, you have to install the CLI tool. Then you have a command line that you can use to run on, say, your terminal or your PowerShell if it's Windows, the terminal again for Linux to get the device running. Now, the simple command that you have to use is hsconnect -t for the token, API token, and the device address so that you can connect that particular device. And you can verify if that connection has gone through. For iOS, you can use iDevice ID through a mobile device, or you can just go to Xcode and check if the device is connected. And for Android, it's very straightforward. You can just type in ADB devices to see if the device is listed. Now, I'll give you a walkthrough of how that looks like. So this is the HeadSpin UI that you're seeing right now. So here you can see all of the devices that we've connected to the UI. Yeah, there's Chrome browsers. These are desktop browsers. We have Galaxy S9 over here, Apple TVs, Android TVs, Fire Sticks. These are all devices that you can just click start to start using it. Now, if I open up, say, an Android device, like so this is a Pixel 6 that sits in London, Great Britain over here. I can basically use the device using swipes and clicks on the screen that you see on the left-hand side. And in the middle, you get more details over here. Now, if I go to the tools section over here, you can see something called as remote debug. Now, this is where the command line sits, which helps you connect the device to my laptop. Now, before I set the connection up, I'll show you how you can download the CLI tool. So here you have the download link. Click on it. It takes you to the settings page for HeadSpin. And once you're here, you can see the token. We'll be removing that after the call. And then you have the CLI tool that's in the download section. The CLI is accessible for Windows x64, x86, 32-bit, 64-bit. We support both. macOS Universal, that means it does work on the M series Macs as well as the old Intel as well. We have Linux. We have the file for Linux as well, and you can download them for ARM-based chips if you are into that. And you have x64 and x86 for Mac as well. Now, once you click on any one of those links, you can download that. And once it's installed, it's basically plug and play. So you can just install the DMG file for macOS. And then if you're on Windows, you have to install the exe file, and then you have to set the path to it. So you can just search for environment variables and go to the path section and just copy the path to the environment variables, and that's it. You can run the command directly from it. Now, once all of that is done, you copy the command line. You can see over here, and you can just go to your terminal. And here, I'll just paste this command, click enter. And after a while, I think I've already connected the device. I'll just disconnect everything. Disconnect here, and then I'll connection again. So after a few seconds, you'll see the device is connected, and you can see it's available locally right now. Now, I've connected the Pixel device right now. So since it's an Android device, I can just type in ADB devices, and you can see the devices listed over here. Pretty straightforward. Now, since it is connected via ADB. You can even go to ADB shell, for example, and go to the direct of the device or even run shell commands over here. List packages. It's another example that I can do. So these are the list of packages installed on the device. Exit shell. Even type in ADB logcat. See, this gives you the logs of that device. So you can pretty much run any shell command over here. And if you want to install an application, you can do that as well. So if I just type in ADB minus S, and here, where do that? Just take the devices again. Minus S, the device ID, that's the entire text that you see over here. And if I want to install, let's see, application like speed test, I can just go to the directory and get it installed. Need to go to the directory first. But yeah, it's totally doable, and you can pretty much install any applications, pull files from it, or even push files to that particular remote device using it. Now, once the device is connected, you can pretty much run any commands that requires that physical connection to the device. So this is on connecting the device. Let's go to the next topic. iOS, yes. iOS is, you can connect the iOS devices in a similar manner. So what you have to do is go to the iOS device of your choice. I think I've already opened one of the devices over here. So this is an iPhone 13 that sits in Australia, Sydney. So you can go down, see it's a similar code that you just saw for the Android device. Copy the code, go to your terminal again, and run the command over here. Once it's connected, in a few seconds, you'll be able to get the device again locally accessible. So you can see the device is connected. I have Loop mobile devices installed, so I can just type in ADB device. You can see the device is listed. Now, if I want to say check if it's connected, I can just go to my destination, and you can see the iPhone is connected to my Xcode. And if you want to run XC test cases over there, you can do that. Now, over here, you can do and basically any kind of testing on Android as well. So Android, similarly, you connect the device. If I go back to say Android Studio, you can see the device is listed as a physical device. And if I want to run, say, any compose or espresso test cases, I can run that directly as well. So if I go to the paths, type in bash real devices, and if I open up Android device, I've just run a sample code for Android right now. You can see the application is installed, and I can pretty much do the device right now. It will run the code in a few seconds. See, you can see that the sample app is coming up. It's doing some operations on the device. And once it's done, it will give you a message that the test is run, and you can see the results of the test over here. So it's a sample 13, by 13. You'll execute the entire test flow and you'll get the result over here. And you can even do remote debugging as well. So for example, you're building your own code. I have a very simple Flutter code with me right now. Once this is over, what I can do is I can quickly go ahead and run that code over here. And this builds the application on the Android device over here. And what you can do is you can actually make changes live, and you can see the changes on the device as well. So it's creating code. So you can see I have HeadSpin over here. I have the background. And if I go to input text, I change this to hello world. Go back to main. So if I rerun the code over here, you'll see in a few seconds it changes on the app directly as well. So any changes that you make on your code will be reflected on the device over here. So this is again another example of how you can use HeadSpin CLI tool. And if you are more into say into say detox testing, we have you covered that as well. So I have detox code over here. So if I have to make a few edits to the file. So what I have to do is open up the config file for detox, for example. Head detox folder, and there should be samples. We have detox config. Now here, what I have to do is, all I have to do is change the attach value. So in this case, it's a ADB device, right? So I'll go back to the UI, type in ADB devices again. You can see the device is listed. Copy the code, copy the ADB command, ADB device, or the UDID, the device ID of the connected device. Paste it over here, save it, and I've actually connected. This is the app that I'm testing out. You see the app is over here, and the device that I'm using is Android attached. And Android attached is listed as here, and I have the ADB device listed. Go ahead, run, and here we will start the detox test run on my connected device. Again, just as you saw the special test case running and the flutter run, the detox would actually start on the remote device in a few seconds, and we'll be able to see the test case over here. I think I've talked about the test run for some time. If you have any doubts, you can actually ask away over here. I have opened up the Q&A session code over here. So while the detox run is running, if you have any questions regarding what I've just talked about, let's go ahead. You can ask us. Starting the rest of it might take a few seconds. Any questions, guys? We just saw that the application just opened. Yep. The very small test case. You can see everything passed. Any questions? It could be regarding the CLI, the device, or maybe HeadSpin in general. I can help out with anything. Okay, Android are all EDB commands usable. Yes, so around 95% of all the commands can be used. Anything that requires a root access, you wouldn't be able to run those. But other than that, most of the commands is doable. Yeah, there's actually one more capability that you can use with HeadSpin CLI tool. So that's the tunnel capability. That's an interesting capability as well. So so here you can see we have the device connected locally, right? In a similar manner, what you can do is you can have the network in which my laptop or your laptop is connected to be accessible for the remote device as well. So in that scenario, so in scenarios where, for example, you have a QA build that works in a closed environment. in those scenarios, you can basically run the CLI tool to get the tunnel bridged and then run the build on the remote devices. It'll very good. Can we perform instrumentation on the app install and device form if it's using the CLI? So you can basically run instrumentation commands. Yes, you can do that. Can we try the device in landscape mode? Yes. So say if the application supports it, you can do that. Like so. Can we connect rooted devices? Right now, we do restrict connecting router devices just because of the nature of router devices. So we normally only deal with mm, vanilla Android or iOS devices. It does not actually rotate the actual device, but uh, it does simulate the rotation. So there's an ADB shell command that you can use to rotate the device. That's what's happening over here. Any more questions? Or I can actually show you another trick that we can do. So while the CLI tool is connected, say you're testing out your mobile web page on a device. What you can do is you can actually go to uh, Chrome Inspect to see the same application visible over there as well. So for example, if I go to ESPN, it's already opened up, so I use that. I can just go to Chrome Inspect. And you can see we can get the app inspected over here as well. This is another key feature that you can use for the CLI tool. So you get all of the elements, the network details. So basically, it's very much similar to how you can use locally connected device. How do you connect our own iPad devices for our internal apps to use its for performance testing? Are the key issues that may prevent device connectivity, specifically for internal applications that are not publicly available apps? That's actually a great question. So this is where you can either use HeadSpin's provide capability. Now, it will provide, it uses the same CLI tool. What you can do is you can have your Android or iOS device connected to your MacBook, Windows, or Linux machine and run the command hs provide. Now, after you are running the hs provide command, the device would be accessible on the platform directly, and you can start using the same device. So, if it's sensitive information that you want to test out, that can be done. We also provide another capabilities, another uh, style of deployment, which is called the on-prem deployment, wherein we give you the actual PBox itself so that you can set it up on your own premise. So the devices that you want, you can connect directly to the PBox. It will be accessible on the UI. And we have two deployment models on-prem as well. So one is hybrid on-prem, wherein the UI and the unified controller would be on cloud, and the devices would be in your location. So anyone outside, anyone from your organization can access those devices. There's also a closed, fully air gap model, wherein we will ship the unified controller, all the blade servers to your premise so that it will be fully air gap, and only people from the same organization can actually use those devices. More or less, banks or any financial sector which has sensitive data would be using this. Even HeadSpin itself wouldn't be able to get access to this device unless you give us a VDI for us to use. And if it's installing specific builds, it's pretty straightforward. You can just go to the app section and go to browse and select the APK file of your choice to get it uploaded. So debug, RC, any kind of builds can install. How many devices can be connected once? So we don't really have a limitation over here. So long as your laptop can handle it, I think at most we can connect at least 10, 15 devices. Advantage of using HeadSpin over Smart Connect of Motorola. Uh, well, the major advantage that we provide is we can actually connect multitude. We can connect any number of devices that you want. So using Smart Connect means you will be using just a specific feature of just one manufacturer, right? So here we don't really distinguish between any particular manufacturer. Any Android or iOS based devices can be connected over here. And again, the best advantage would be our whole session report, which gives you full insights into the test cases that we've offered. So here is an example of one of the session reports that we have, wherein you can see the video of the recording over here, the entire device or KPIs, the net CPU, memory usage, battery drain, RF signals, and you can even see the Apple commands that you can use to run the test case flow. So it can sit anywhere in the world and you can still use that particular device. So that would be the major advantage. I haven't really personally used Smart Connect. I have a Samsung device of my own. So yeah. Any other questions? Just in case if anyone was wondering, these are all real devices. These aren't really simulators or emulators. So you can pretty much set up the device in a way where you can scan QR codes over here as well. If I open up the camera on one of the devices, you'll actually you can actually see the data center over there. Any other questions, guys? We'll wait for a few more minutes, see if anyone has any other doubts, and invite this up. Uh, any questions is fine. So even if it's a small question regarding, say, how you can navigate through the device itself, or if you want to use multiple devices at the same time, I can answer those as well. It doesn't really have to be just the CLI. So you can, it's more or less showcasing the HeadSpin's power, HeadSpin's tools. Yes, so we are SOC Type 2 certified, and anyone that has authentication token, only those personnel could be able to use the devices that we have. And we have three deployment models: shared, on-prem, as well as dedicated cloud. Shared pool devices, again, you still have to sign up for the to the platform, and you need a token to access those devices. Dedicated devices would only be accessible for that particular organization. So you can let us know which devices that you would want, and we can procure those devices and set them up. On-prem would be fully air gapped. unless you're in that particular network, you wouldn't even be able to see those devices. See network logs for backend calls when using it's been hosted app on iOS. Okay. So if you're not able to see network logs, it's either due to a few reasons. One, it could be that the application itself is not SSL unpinned. So if it's an unpinned application, that means we wouldn't be able to get any of the network API calls capture using the capture capability. Could you tell me if that's the case? Because normal production builds, you have to sign the application and get it pinned so that only then can you actually get them onto the App Store. Right now. For example, you can actually start the capture over here and do a small test case on a browser for it. Browsers don't really have pinning done, so you can see the calls over there. So let's do a small session. So I'm done with it. Stop recording. What about UI? I'm going to be able to see the replicate the calls for this. But for applications in general, you would need to unpin it first. You can see all of the API calls captured and categorized. On anyone takes you directly to the API call. It's a same thing with Charles as well. Unless you have an unpinned version of that, it will block all of the API calls. You'll probably end up getting a lot of TLS exceptions over here. Pretty much telling you that these are the hosts that's actually blocking the network. Give it 2 more minutes. I'll give you a little briefing of what happened, Rajesh. Uh, Basically, we were just talking about how you can use HeadSpin CLI to get any remote device locally accessible. So the CLI tool itself helps you connect remote devices onto your local laptop or desktop so that you can run SK server. Sorry. Right. I think the recording itself is accessible. We can share the links to you. That would be a problem. No problem. Okay. If there aren't any other questions, thank you for having me here. I hope this was an insightful into how you can actually use HeadSpin. If you have any doubts, queries, you can always reach out to me via email. It's Christy@headspin.io. And if there's any doubts regarding the UI or if you'd want to do a trial session with HeadSpin, please do reach out to me and get that on. I'll get you guys on board. Thank you for connecting. Bye. Have a good day.